Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with more Dogs of War goodness. So obviously I have started this epic journey of creating a Dogs of War army for the old world. It will represent an Empire army on the table, as there is currently no mercenary rules in the old world. None of the old units have rules. They haven't given any legends rules or anything like that. Hopefully someday in the future they might do that, but I have my doubts. But I am definitely going to figure out how to run it as an Empire army. I started off with the first video showcasing what I intend and what I currently own for Dogs of War, getting them all cleaned up, stripped, put back together, assembled, sprayed, and rebased, of course. And now the whole army project is sitting there ready to go. I then did a video on Lorenzo Lupo, who will be the sergeant and commander of my force. And then I thought for this video I would tackle the Birdmen of Catrazza, which are a very interesting and very unique unit to the Dogs of War, very Da Vincian, and I will talk a little bit more about where they come from, their backstory and lore later on in the video. As for what I will be using them as in the Empire army, they will be Outriders or Pistoliers. I think they suit that down to the ground. Fast moving, long range unit, designed to get in amongst enemies, annoy them, harry flanks, and pick off vulnerable characters, that kind of thing. So as goes the miniatures, they are based correctly on the right horse size basis, and that's what I'll be using them as. So the question is, can I get them all painted in one day? I have my doubts, but we will see how far I get. Alright guys, if you're looking forward to this video, stick around. So this is my squad of 5 Birdmen of Catrazza that I have built up. Obviously I've given them some cork bases, added the flying stands on, made them kind of taller, and then obviously I got them sprayed and ready to rock and roll. Like I said, I'm really privileged and really glad that I own these miniatures. They're quite hard to come by these days, and when you do find them, they do tend to cost a pretty penny. These are, of course, part of the original Dogs of War range, and they do have a nice little bit of background that I'm going to get into now. The first thing when you go to their Wikipedia page is a little quote from a battle they were involved in. So this is the mercenary Gunter Friesman on his account of the Crookback Pass fiasco. And he writes, "They came out of the clear blue sky, showering crossbow bolts onto our packed ranks. But before we could react, they'd flown off, only to return from a different angle, emptying their quivers into our unprotected backs once more. Of course, we surrendered." So these guys are definitely a harrying foe, coming from, even considering the concept of fighting in wars that are rank and file. There is no air support, so having any force that is in the air is something you tend not to worry about, not to consider. So when they come down, they really do catch you off guard. So the little bit of information that we have on the Birdmen is as followed. The Birdmen of Catrazza are a famous band of Dogs of War mercenaries that hail from Tilia. Wearing their trademark bird mask, these mercenaries are famed throughout the old world for their ability to fly across the battlefield by using a pair of wings made entirely of canvas stretched out over a light wooden frame. This is strapped to their shoulders by means of harness that leaves both hands free to shoot a small variant of the crossbow. In flight, the wings can be flapped by means of a stirrup attached to the feet, allowing the birdman to glide up and down the battlefield. This ingenious invention was made and manufactured by the famous inventor Diablo, who was a well-known craftsman and windmill builder within the city of Verezzo. He became obsessed with trying to fly like a bird after he acquired some lost manuscripts from Leonardo da Vinci. Inspired by the idea these contained, he began experimenting with flying devices. Only later did it emerge that these manuscripts were clever forgeries. However, by then it was far too late. Diablo's obsession had quite literally taken over his life, ousting any vestige of common sense from his fevered brain and putting him on the path as a mercenary of fortune. Born of the obsession with flying of their leader Diablo, the Birdmen of Catrazza are a magnificent sight to behold during a battle as they swoop over the enemy, strafing them with bolt fire. Able to fire and still shoot their arrows due to the unique construction of the wings, the Birdmen of Catrazza are rightly feared by all who oppose them. Not even those who fly high above the battlefield in apparent safety can escape their attention of the remarkable regiment of renown. And these kinds of stories and this kind of background and stuff, someone put a lot of love and attention into, first of all, designing these miniatures. Like, they are absolutely fantastic. They're so Da Vincian in their design that it just beckons you to want to own them and paint them and feel them in a game somehow. And second, someone put a lot of time and effort into writing these stories and the background of all the different units, the guy who created them, where they came from. This kind of in-depth lore exists in 40k for sure, but in games like Age of Sigmar, I don't really feel like that kind of information is there anymore, and I feel like I've been missing that in my fantasy setting. With the return of the old world, it's an excuse to try and pull out some of these old miniatures and try and regain some of that lost kind of lore and story and stuff. Obviously, the current old world setting is set 200 years before the end times, so most of the things that I'm building and painting haven't been invented or created yet in the old world, which is a bit of a sad thing to say. But hopefully I can bring them back to life with my Dogs of War series, creating this beautiful, unique army, and then fielding it in as many games as possible as an Empire force. Even though Empire are currently not doing very well in the rankings, hopefully people will just be so gobsmacked by the awesomeness of that it will be this army that they'll just let me win all my games, right? Right? Anyway, I'm starting to get the base coats on now, and as you can see, I am going for the orange and black scheme, the same color that I did on my Lorenzo Lupo. It is actually the color scheme I'm going to follow through the entire Dogs of War army. I think a whole army painted like this is going to look pretty awesome. It's going to be very unique, very standoutish. I painted up a couple of Bretonians in this scheme, and that's what kind of drew my attention. I loved how they looked, and I immediately wanted to paint an army of them. My Dogs of War just jumped out at me as something that I was going to do. Now, Birdmen, although are absolutely amazing, the only downside to them is they are so awful to try and angle for the camera, whether it be to get a photograph or whether to be painting. As you can see, as I flip it around, all you're seeing is my thumb and the base. Everything else is blocked out. It's so flat, it's so difficult to get any angle that can see underneath the model to the actual rider itself without it getting all blurred or trying to focus on the base or anything like that. So when I get to the layering stage of this model, I actually tend to focus entirely on the top section of the wings, getting them layered up and looking nice. And with this, I do get a really nice result. As it stands now, we're very much in the ugly stage. So if you've gotten this far and you're worried that you're wasting your time, I promise you, this guy looks awesome by the end of it. I'm really proud of this. And it's just another thing that pushes me on to want to get this force painted up. As you can see, I'm still very much on the contrast. I did a little bit of gold and silver, but orange, black, and Agro's Dunes contrast has been used on the wings. Now it's time to Reikland Flesh Shade the entire piece. Why Reikland Flesh Shade? It goes over great over the gold, over that tan color, definitely over the orange. And it doesn't do too bad of a job over the black and silver and stuff as well. It just makes it look kind of a little bit old, a little bit weathered. And obviously, like I said, we're going to be layering those up anyway, so it does work a treat. The actual next video that I really did want to bring to you was my Alicante pikemen. I really wanted to do my full block of 40. But finding the time to paint those up, I don't know how I would do it on a video. It would almost take a week of painting just to get them all done. Or at least 3 days. And I don't have 3 solid days that I can dedicate to that unit. So I think what I'm going to try and do is paint up 37 of them off camera in the evening times. And then do a video painting up the final 3, which is basically the first, second, and third rank, just to show how the pikes work. And then do that as my next video. That's something I'm going to try and do. So as you can see, I have base coated and washed all 5 of the Birdmen up as I was going through this process, but it's quite late in the day when I got to this stage and I realized I was running out of time. I was not going to be able to base coat, or sorry, layer up the entire unit today. So I decided I was just going to focus on the Awesome Sergeant and paint him up to completion, and then I would work on the other 4 guys, perhaps on my Twitch stream that will be on Thursday. So if you're watching this today, which is Wednesday, or anytime early on Thursday, and you want to see the rest of them get painted up, then you can come and jump on my Twitch stream. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday over on Twitch, 8 to 10 p.m. Irish time. We talk a lot of nonsense, we paint some toy soldiers, really nice community forming there. So if you want to be a part of that, you are very much welcome. Obviously, I'm leaning heavily on the Duncan Rhodes paints as I used them to paint my orange and black scheme before, and I wanted to make sure that those tones matched. These colors do work a treat. I thoroughly, I keep saying it over and over again, how much I enjoy painting with these paints. And if there's something that you haven't given a try yet, that's something to consider. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. They just genuinely find them to be really good. I've always struggled with painting something like orange. And with this, I threw the contrast down, I shaded that, and then I just used 2 layer paints from the orange range to layer them up and make them jump out off the wings and look awesome. And I'm so happy with the final result. This army will definitely be striking on the battlefield. And I'm still very much in the market for a bunch of other units for it and a couple of extra horses and some other bits that are required. So After I've gotten all my original kind of chunk of stuff done, I will of course be fighting my way through the eBay hordes to try and claim the rest of the units that I need, like the Leopard Company and stuff like that. Gorgeous units that I want another block of 40 of them or something. And a block of 40 of them is going to be ridiculously expensive. Do I think Games Workshop will ever bring these guys back out as a made to order? Perhaps when the Empire book is redone. I mean, stranger things have come back in the made to order, things that we thought we would never see. You know, all those, the really old Marauder Giant and the really old Wyvern, and never thought I would see any of that stuff. And that's all really old miniatures too, so perhaps they will do it. It's a long shot, but never say never. If they did, I think they would make an absolute killing from it. Here's the orange and black layered up now. I know it's pushed more towards a grey, but I kind of like that. It makes it pop. I'm now going to do the light wooden frame. Whenever I think of light wood, I literally think of the colour being light as well. For some reason, I think of darker woods as being denser and heavier. I don't know whether that actually means something or where my brain has come up with that concept. I have no idea. If anyone else has any ideas as to why I feel that way, please do let me know. But as you can see, I'm going for the lighter wood color, like a birch kind of color, and I'm obviously painting up the all the wing membranes, the bit that goes down his back, and any other bits and pieces on the model that I think will suit this particular color. And obviously this is an important step. I need to take my time, make sure I get all these lines kind of arrow straight, as these are what break up all the different patterns. And as you can see, as I've taken my time, gotten those colors in the right place, the wing really does look quite smart at this point. It's looking really well. At least I think it's looking really well. And remember, these miniatures are so old. Like whoever bought this particular set of 5 miniatures originally probably bought them when they came out, and they never painted them. So I wonder how long these, like this particular set of 5 miniatures has been sitting around waiting for a coat of paint, waiting to be deployed onto a gaming table and have dice rolled in anger to represent it. And I just can't wait to be the one to do it. Obviously his leather cuirass that I've given him. Obviously I didn't want to give him any kind of armored plate. I tried to resist the urge to do metallics, even on like cross sections and beams and stuff like that, because obviously this guy's a flying machine. If there was lots of metal parts on him, I would imagine he would fall out of the sky pretty fast and have an unfortunate and sudden stop. Ironbreaker is used to highlight all those metallic parts that I did do. For instance, his beautiful golden hawk mask. And then the little bars and stuff that do go down his wings. His sword blade, if I was painting the other 4, obviously parts of the crossbow would be done in the metallics as well. And there's some metal studs and stuff that are on the pedals. I think that's for when he lands, he can actually walk on those pedals. He doesn't like step out of them, which I think is really cool looking as well. After that, I just added some grass tufts to the base. And after that, I would consider this the first Birdmen of Catrazza that I've ever painted, finished and ready for a tabletop. Like I said, I can't wait to see the whole squad of 5. I can't wait to look in at my shelf of Dogs of War stuff and see a finished unit. I always find that once you get over that hump of finishing one unit and being proud of it, it makes you want to fight on and do more and more and more and more. And that's what I'm planning on doing with these guys. I've taken a couple of high-res images. Like I said earlier in this video, they're an absolute nightmare to actually photograph, so I do apologize if these do not do it justice. I do some close-ups on just the sergeant at the end, even just turn him kind of on his back just to show off his back a little bit. Like I said, love the result, love the orange and black color scheme. Like so happy, can't wait to finish them off, and then I cannot wait to get stuck in to my favorite unit, the Alicante Pikemen, and see a whole block of 40 of them painted will make me truly, truly happy. Okay guys, unfortunately I did not manage to get all 5 of these amazing miniatures painted in a single sitting like I kind of thought I would. 4 of them are base coated and washed, so ready to be layered, and I will be layering them I think on tomorrow's stream, Thursday night's stream on my Twitch. I think would be a good day, spend a couple hours getting some orange and black layered up. But I did manage to get the sergeant of the squad fully finished so you could get a kind of see how they're going to look. And my God, am I so pleased with the scheme. I'm really digging this orange and black scheme for the Dogs of War army. I hope you guys are as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what other units you want to see from the Dogs of War army painted up next. I'm tempted to try and get the entire 40-man block of Alicante Pikemen done. I feel like if I get that done, that's like a huge section of the shelf in which they're on. It'll give me a real boost to push forward and get more stuff done. So that's what I like to do. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, before I go, just make sure that you give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Ask me any question you want in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all future updates. And check out my Patreon below if you want to support me and the channel's growth. You get access to a private Discord server and an extra video every single day from me, basically of a daily vlog series where I talk about what I've been going through in today. And you guys get to help shape what happens in the future with the channel, picking videos and stuff like that. So if that's something that interests you, like I said, Patreon down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.